The Great Steppe, millenniums of events, hundreds of nomadic tribes and people. They lived, worked, made discoveries, conquered large tracts of lands and left us some mysteries. To learn more about it, watch project called Enigma of the Great Steppe.
He has been on the edge of defeat and death many times. People gave him a nickname, Father of Conquest. His way to fame was very difficult. He risked a lot and spared no one. Probably this caused such contradictory thoughts. Till now, some consider him as a defender of the faith, as a wise and brave ruler. Others believe that he was a cruel and insidious man who did not stop at nothing to gain power and even broke one of the main rules of the steppe. When and where was he born? What were the circumstances he died under? It is still a controversial issue. His name has been honored over 8 centuries in the Middle East, but only recently people of the steppe started talking about the fact that famous Sultan Beibars was born here in the Great Steppe. He was a great king. East and Christian rulers kneeled to him. There was a picture of the lion on his tamga as a symbol of his bravery and feats. Sultan Beibars I lived in the 13th century and had ruled Egypt and Syria for 17 years. His destiny was marvelous. Being a child, he was kidnapped, taken to foreign lands along with other children, and sold into slavery. In the East, they were called Mamluks, which means belonging to someone. Many years later, people started making up legends about the former slave. How did he become a folk hero? How did he regain his freedom and take the throne in a foreign country? Why are there so many contradictory legends and myths about him? What can a name common to many Turkic languages and borrowed by the neighbors tell about the origin of Sultan Beibars? Perhaps nothing certain. In Mamluk Egypt, the names Beibars, Bars Bey, and Bars Bay were quite common.
Его полное имя, если я не ошибаюсь, когда я был на его могиле, я списал его имя.
When I was at his grave, I've written down his full name, and if I remember correctly, it sounds as following. A Sultan Ruknaddin Az-Zakir Beibars al-Mansuri al-Miari Abu el-Futuk al-Bundukwatari. This is the full name of Beibars. He is Rukin ad-Din, which means defender of the faith. Abu el-Futuk, father of conquest. He was canonized. There are museums in Israel, Jerusalem, and Cairo.
Конфликтном состоянии Ближнего Востока фигура.
Despite the contradictory state in the Middle East, the figure of Beibars is close to all Semitic people. They consider him as a defender of the faith because he saved the Middle East from the Crusades, managed to pave the way for the end of the Yellow Crusaders, as said scholar Gumilyov. Here we mean the Mongols. Sultan Beibars was never the aggressor, he was only defending. That's why he was called Abu el-Futuk.
И он никогда не был агрессором, он только защищался, поэтому он Абу эль-Футух.
The story of Beibars' origin is mysterious. Yes, he was a Mamluk, but in medieval Egypt, all boys of Turkic and Caucasian origin were called Mamluks. Sultan Beibars I is a very famous figure, and people of several countries consider their country as Sultan Beibars' native land. There are versions that Beibars was born on the territory of Crimea in the Caucasus. Some scientists contend that he could be from the ancestors of modern Bashkir or Turkmen, and some believe that his roots were somewhere in the Kazakh steppes, supposedly the territory of the current Atrau region of Kazakhstan.
Источники по происхождению Султана Бейбарса.
Sources of Sultan Beibars' origin confirm he came from the territory of the northeastern part of the Caspian Sea. Also, they show he belonged to the nomadic Turkic tribes, but there was a lot of controversy. Some sources had information that he belonged to Toksoba sub-tribe of Kipchak tribe, as well as to Dort sub-tribe of the Bashkir people.
который сегодня относится к башкирскому народу. Наиболее достоверная информация говорит,
According to the most reliable information, he belongs to the Bersh tribe of Junior Juz.
это младший жуз казахского народа.
And the name of the famous commander tells something about the Beibars' origin. But this name is widespread. Medieval authors mention at least 11 Mamluks with the name Beibars. Probably the year of birth can assist with the investigation. Some medieval historians refer to the 1223rd year as the year of Beibars' birth. But the official date of birth is considered the 1225th year. This information was provided by contemporaries of Beibars. This is a significant period in the history of the steppe, when the great Genghis Khan was conquering Central Asia. Is there any link between this invasion and the kidnapping of little Beibars? Interesting fact, all scientists agree on one thing. The mysterious boy was of Kipchak origin, he remembered his native language, and adhered to customs and rituals of his tribe. During the Mongol invasion, the tribe, which Beibars belonged to, asked Bulgar Khan Anar for permission to cross the Crimean town Sudak to live there. Khan offered them a basin between two mountains. When they started migrating to this territory, Khan's warriors attacked the tribe, murdered many people, and captured some parts. In the Middle Ages, slavery was widespread in the east. Natives of the Great Steppe, or Disht-i-Kipchak, as it was called at the time, were especially valued. Everyone knew that nomads were the world's best riders and warriors. Young Kipchaks were brought from the slave markets, trained to fight, and converted to Islam. Over the years, the Mamluks became a special caste, a military aristocracy. Some of them became rulers. According to the researcher Bakhiti Batir Shah Uli, Turkic signs can be found in the biography of Beibars and other well-known Mamluks.
Первое – это этнонимы мамлюков.
The first sign is ethnonyms of Kipchak and Circassian dynasties. Let's start with Sultan Beibars. Barisbai, Aktai, Kaitpai, Tumanbai, Yesentai. All these names show the origin of the Mamluks. Today, these names can be found only in Kazakh culture.
О происхождении мамлюков сегодня эти имена можно найти только в казахском этнониме.
Orientalist Bulat Kumekov and historian Bakhiti Batir Shah Uli studied the architectural monuments of Sultan Beibars and his successors, and scientists put forward an interesting version of interaction of Arab-Islamic culture and the steppe civilization. On the monuments, they noticed carvings similar to the Kazakh ornament, Koshkar Muiz.
Кипчаки, придя к власти, они
Kipchaks, after coming to power, brought their daily lifestyle, habits, clothing, ways of talking and communicating.
взаимоотношения складывались, а также они хотели...
By this, they wanted to show where they came from. They came from the Great Steppe, and the signs of the Great Steppe are ornaments in the animal style.
Теперь это орнаменты звериного стиля. И я думаю, только поэтому на самых
I
лучших...
think that's why Kipchaks always decorated the visible parts of the mosques, mihrabs and door entrances, tops of the arches, and the prides of places with animal-style ornaments.
украшали орнаментами звериного стиля.
Only a few know that there were some facts which could prevent little Beibars to be in the Mamluk army. What was that, and how did he actually come to power?
У Бейбарса говорили разные глаза.
We came to know that Beibars had different eyes. What does this mean? There's a natural phenomenon. In other chronicles, I have read that one of his eyes was afflicted with cataracts.
Слабенький Бейбарс. Он уже должен... И никто не думал, что он выживет. Хиленький мальчик, который уже умирал, и он был забракованный, потому что у него...
He was a very weak boy. No one wanted to take him. A boy with bicolor eye, green and gray pupils. People were afraid that it was the devil's mark. And when the merchant was buying more or less strong boys, he even did not look at Beibars.
Дьявольская какая-то. И вот когда он покупал разных там рабов, более-менее крепеньких ребят, этот оставался один Бейбарс. И
Then
продается...
the seller asked the merchant to take Beibars for change. Beibars was bought at the cost of a rooster. Anyway, he would die. This was the thought of the merchant about Beibars. When they brought him to Cairo, the mother of the merchant, looking on the slave, said, "It is good that you have bought him, because he has a mark."
Вот этого купца Аль-Бундуктари, просматривая всех новых рабов, отметил его, сказал: вот это вот ты правильно сделал, что купил. Почему? Потому что у него есть метка.
Eyes with different color is a mysterious mark. Probably this mark is one of the reasons why some people consider the famous Kipchak as the hero and others as the villain. Let's talk about how Beibars took the throne in Egypt. First, he became an ally of Sultan Qutuz, another Mamluk from Central Asia. By working together, they defeated the Mongols, but after this defeat, Beibars colluded and murdered Sultan Qutuz. In October of 1260, Kipchaks took the throne of the Sultan of Egypt. It was the beginning of the rise of Mamluk Sultanate, a country in the Middle East which lasted till the early 16th century. Why did Beibars' fortune cause the outrage and the admiration at the same time? How did the former nomad break one of the main rules of the Great Steppe? His first major military conquest took place in 1250, when Beibars was the commander in the battle against the army of the Crusaders led by Louis IV, who was captured and later was released for a great ransom. As time passed, Beibars was declared Sultan of Egypt, Syria, Hijaz, and Yemen. He was proclaimed the head of the Islamic world. He had such a great authority and influence that chroniclers called him Defender of Islam. Medieval Europe had quite different thoughts. People of medieval Europe spoke of the cruelty and treachery of the Mamluk Sultan during concluding agreements and remembered with horror the siege of the fortresses by Beibars' army. However, the most significant mystery in the history of the medieval East comes from the battle between the Mamluk army and the great Mongol Empire. Unbeatable Mongols were met with resolute force. It was a merit of Sultan Beibars. The Mongols knew only one way, to move forward destroying everything and everyone on their way. This was the most correct way. They were surprised when they saw the Mamluks moving forward to them. When two armies met on a battlefield near Ain Jalut, the Mongols crashed down. Some sources indicate that Beibars hated the Mongols. Perhaps he memorized something terrible about the campaigns of Genghis Khan's army to Disht-e-Kipchak. If so, then the Mamluk got a chance of revenge. In 1253, rulers of the Mongols decided to arrange a campaign against the Baghdad Caliphate. After 7 years of military standoffs, nomads sent envoys to Cairo with a demand to surrender Egypt. The Mamluks murdered them and got prepared to face the enemy. The battle at the place called Ain Jalut had become part of history. This battle brought a fame to Beibars.
Он, когда стал правителем Египта, он шел на переговоры с этим Кетбуком.
When he became the ruler of Egypt, he negotiated with the Mongolian commander, Kitbuka. They met in Jerusalem for negotiations. And bastard Beibars killed unarmed envoys. It was the worst action, to kill unarmed envoys. Even if the enemy who killed your father came to you, you had to treat him because he was a guest. He killed the guest in his home. It was the most grievous sin in the steppe. The Mongols eradicated entire cities for such crimes. Great Mongke Khan died, and because of this, Beibars defeated the Mongols. All Mongol commanders with their troops urgently left to Karakoram for the elections. Who had more troops, that candidate won. This saved Egypt from destruction. People say that Beibars fought Mongols and saved Egypt.
Понятно, и вот это спасло Египет. А то говорят, там отбил. Да черт, не такие государства выступали.
Unlike most researchers, scientist Jibek Ibraev does not think that Sultan Beibars is a defeater of the Mongols. Yes, it is true that the Mamluks defeated the Mongols in the epic battle of Ain Jalut, and Egypt was not conquered. But but nobody knows how things would turn if the Mongol army was in full strength, not as a small unit with 10,000 cavalrymen. Another enigma of history is what would happen to the Arab world, to the Mamluks and to Beibars, in the case of a new attempt of the Mongol army to conquer Egypt. Yermek Tursunov does not agree with Bek Ibraev. He believes that Beibars is the hero. The truth is, he is a reluctant hero.
Когда состоялась эта битва, для меня было интересно.
For me, the important thing is the fact that 90% of warriors in the Battle of Ain Jalut were Kipchaks. 90% of the Mamluks came from our steppe.
Мамлюкская армия, то она вся в основном состояла процентов на 90 из выходцев из наших степей.
It is the pre-posterius picture, where half-brothers fighting each other somewhere on the banks of the Jordan River, under another flag to conquer the Egypt tomb.
Единокровные братья против братьев, где-то на берегу реки Йордан, за гроб Господень, под чужими флагами, под чужими там именами.
The Mamluks won this battle, but it was a fratricidal war.
Победили мамлюки. Ну, это была братоубийственная война.
Egypt's army defeated the Mongols when the kings of many other countries were not able to do this. People do say war is the continuation of policy. A couple of years after the Battle of Ain Jalut, Sultan Beibars built a good relationship with the nomads. Berke Khan became his ally. Berke was the grandson of Genghis Khan, who was the first among the Mongol rulers who converted to Islam. How did the famous Kipchak die? Why do many people believe that Beibars returned to the steppe? And how many graves did the Mamluk ruler have? People of Red Sands tell about it in a different way, confuse names and countries. The Russian chronicler heard only one story about the white bitter herb, the smell of which no one can forget. Over 8 centuries, not only historians wrote about Beibars, but writers also. Scholars are even a bit unhappy with the popularity of the folk hero. Now it is difficult to separate the facts from the myths. For example, in Soviet times, Boris Simashko wrote the novel Emshan. Later, the film was released based on this novel. Writer and film directors liked the legend about how the Sultan once breathed in the smell of wormwood, heard a native word forgotten in childhood, and this made him go back to his homeland.
По первой версии, то, что он вернулся в дешти Кипчак к себе на родину на старости лет, бросив в Египте свой трон, все свое состояние.
According to the first version, he came back to Kipchak in his old age, leaving his throne and all his wealth in Egypt. This version comes out of the folk novels. Sultan Beibars became very famous and significant figure in the Islamic world, especially in Egypt and Syria, so that even after his death, people told stories, made up legends, wrote songs, and used to put puppet shows in theaters.
Все прославляли, восхваляли султана Бейбарса. И на сегодняшний день всю информацию о султане Бейбарсе можно разделить на две большие.
All praise Sultan Beibars. And nowadays, we can divide all information about Sultan Beibars into 2. The first one is research materials. Here we can include the archive sources and architectural monuments.
Документы, нарративные источники, также архитектурные памятники и археологические какие-то там находки.
The second part includes all stories that were said and composed, songs that were sung by people. It made him a character number 1 who defeated the Islamic world, and this perception still exists among people.
Персонажа номер 1, справедливого защитника исламского народа. И это сохранилось до сегодня.
5-volume publication was written in the Arab world, which covers all folk novels, stories, legends, songs, and poems about Sultan Beibars.
Народных романов, преданий, легенд, песен и стихов о султане Бейбарсе.
There are many controversial thoughts about Beibars. Some people like his services to the Muslim world, while others blame Kipchak for cruelty and treachery. Yes, he came to power, literally rolling over on people. All rulers did it that way. The same was in European royal houses. The legend that Sultan Beibars had a double seems to be true. because there were people who wanted to get rid of him, and once they could do it, but how?
Средневековые источники
Medieval sources show controversial facts. All of them state that Beibars was poisoned, but there are different facts on question. Who poisoned him?
в том, что кто его отравил.
It is said that the attackers put poison in kumus, which Beibars liked to drink. But there is another version. The Sultan intended to poison one influential person, but this person knew about the Sultan's intention and quietly replaced the glass with the poison. Some people said that Beibars died from battle wounds. There are many of such stories. They're included in folk novels about Sultan Beibars.
Есть легенда такая, что у Бейбарса 3 могилы. Вот. Мы проверяли эту легенду.
There is a legend telling about 3 graves of Beibars. We checked this legend with my friend, Professor Molfak Muhafel.
В Каир они вышли из Дамаска и отправились караваном в Каир. И где-то на 11-й день пути он скончался.
We started our journey and reached one village on the 11th day. In the chronicles, it is written that he died in the bathhouse. I don't know whether this information is true, but we found some kind of bathhouse in that village. It is very old. It has belonged to one family for 10 generations.
В летописях написано, что он скончался в бане. Что любопытно, я не могу утверждать, что это та же самая баня, но мы нашли там эту баню.
They confirmed this legend. Yes, Beibars died here. When he was dying, he asked Caravan Bashi whether there was Mamluks. They brought a 14-year-old Mamluk boy. Beibars asked, "Are you Mamluk?" "Yes, I am." Beibars said, "I'm about to die. After my death, hide my body here."
И обратился к Караван Баши, есть ли мамлюки в составе этой делегации. Привели ему молодого мальчика. Он говорит: ты мамлюк, мамлюк. Вот я сейчас, наверное, умру. А ты, значит...
Let the caravan go further. If others learn about my death, they will murder my family. Mamluk boy rode to Damascus and told the trusted people about Beibars' death. A month later, they came to the bathhouse, dug up the Sultan's body, and brought it to Damascus.
Молодой ринулся обратно, прискакал в Дамаск и самым доверенным султаном, тамузскому кругу, рассказал, что Бейбарс умер. Через месяц выдвинулись в сторону этой бани.
Beibars used to take parades on top of the old castle in Damascus. There is the throne hall, and Beibars was buried for the second time there.
Есть крепость, называется Кала. И вот в этой крепости Кала на вершине, на самой высокой такой площадке Бейбарс принимал парад.
Beibars' people started building a mausoleum. Construction of it lasted for 5 years. After the mausoleum was completed, Beibars was reburied there. Thus, this legend based on historical facts.
Мавзолей этот строили что-то около 5 лет. И когда этот мавзолей был закончен, перезахоронили Бейбарса из тронного зала уже в мавзолей. Таким образом, легенда имеет историческую основу. У него было 3 могилы.
Today, it may seem strange, but people in Kazakhstan started talking about Beibars only half a century ago. What caused such a sudden interest in the Mamluks? Some researchers explain these are ideological considerations. It's no secret that the role of nomads was belittled during a long time.
Он по существу изменил ход истории человечества. Когда мы говорим о Чингисхане, когда мы говорим об
He
Анапе,
essentially changed the development of mankind history. All of us know such prominent figures as Genghis Khan, Bonaparte, Hannibal, Alexander the Great. So Beibars is one of them. He was an outstanding military commander. No one could defeat him.
не потерпел ни одного поражения. Арабы сами мне говорят, если бы не Бейбарс, может быть, мы сегодня...
Arabs say, without Beibars, we would become Buddhists or Catholics or Protestants now. He defended Jerusalem from the Mongols and the Crusaders.
Он защитил Иерусалим и от монголов, и от крестоносцев. Это дано не каждому.
The man with different eyes, whether the special one or a cursed one, his own destiny influenced the destiny of the people of the large territory. Beibars transversed an unusual path. His birth and death are surrounded by enigma. But his actions still cause contradictory thoughts. It is interesting to learn more about this person because he refers to the history of the great steppe.